Episode 23, People to Meet.
Finally, I'm dead!
It was 700 fence posts from your place to house.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of 5 to 1. 5 to 1 is all about the countdown from our panel of experts on a different topic each week. Today, we are featuring the best people to meet in our style of counting down from...
5 to 1.
That was weak. Let's do that again. In our style of counting down from...
5 to 1.
You know, Jet doesn't even have his mic on, so we can't hear him at all.
5 to 1.
There we go. Okay. So last week we received feedback regarding our time travel destinations episode from loyal listener and self-proclaimed number one fan Casey King.
Wait, where's the...
I guess I also wanted to recommend a show idea for you guys. I really like the time travel episode, and I was thinking it would be a good one if you wanted to do your top 5 people who you would want to meet.
So since we are agile, flexible, and inclusive of our listener feedback, we decided to go with Casey's topic suggestion right away. Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so here to talk about 5 to 1 people to meet are the three of us. I'm Chris, and I'm joined by my two personable sons, my 12-year-old Cade and my 10-year-old Jet. I got no names for this one.
What?
Well, it kind of makes sense since we are people.
Yeah, I didn't know what to do.
And this episode's about people, so yeah, this is okay.
First,
it
you could
works.
be Kate Skywalker, comic person, if you don't know. And I could be Boba Jet. And Dad could be...
That would be great.
Christomania.
That would be great for Star Wars, except the Christomania. I don't know what
Christomania or Hulkamania.
What does that have to do with...
I'm naming the
topic?
names. Top
Okay,
5 people to
so Jet gave us the names this week. Good job. Are you guys ready for the...
Pew, pew, pew,
Good.
pew.
Glenn Solomon Fun Fact of the Week.
Pew, pew, pew,
Good.
pew.
I think one aspect of people, us, that differentiates us from other species is our level of self-awareness and how we as a species fit into a larger world. One example of this fact is that we record our population over time, because I don't think other species worry about that so much. A few interesting population tidbits. So our population on Earth is growing exponentially. It took many thousand years for us to get to 1 billion people. Any guesses on what year we hit 1 billion people?
1942. No.
I think it was,
1762. 1762.
I'm thinking the year 1000.
Jet was closer.
17.
It was in 1804.
Ooh. When we hit what? 1 billion?
1 billion people in 1804.
I said
It took
1764.
It took 123 more years to get to 2 billion. So after thousands of years to get to 1 billion, it only took 123 years to get the next billion people. The last billion jump from 6 to 7 took 12 years.
Oh my gosh.
And we are currently at about 7.5 billion. Of that 7.5 billion, 1.4 are in China and 1.3 are in India. That means half of the world is either Chinese or Indian.
That's not true.
It is true, and it's crazy to think about. In contrast, the United Kingdom only has 65.1 million people. That's less than 1% of the world's population. 6% of all people who have ever lived are alive today, which is also crazy to think about.
Yeah.
And every second of every day, 4.2 people are born and 1.8 people die. Every second, every day.
Explains it. That explains it.
But
the exponential
that's
growth.
the thing I don't get. So, like, it goes down, up, down, up, down, up, down,
It goes
up.
up more than it goes down. 4 people are born, only 2 people are dying every second.
Up, 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 down, down. Up, 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 down, down.
Up, 0.2. Down, minus 0.2.
You don't have to say the 0.2 part.
Well, I'm being exact, precise. Okay, so yeah, those were the Glenn Solomon Fun Facts of the Week. Thank you to our loyal listener and maybe the other number one fan, Glenn Solomon, for that segment that has pretty much been on every show since he suggested it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Feedback.
Unfortunately, we did not get any new voicemails this week, but I did receive some other feedback to share. So on our vacation destination episode last week, Nick Green said that he thought a Star Wars reference would be tough in the vacation destination episode, but right out of the gate, he was proved wrong. And I assume he was referring to Jet's humming of the Star Wars theme right when we started.
Yeah.
Casey King added, we had quite a bit of Star Wars talk, actually. Casey also pointed out that I mispronounced Nevada. I said Nevada, and it apparently is correctly pronounced Nevada.
He corrected the genius.
No, that's taking it a little far. But I think that's okay because I checked and we don't have any listeners in Nevada yet, so nobody to be offended. Apparently this was a big deal. Trump
we
came
have 16 in China.
Trump came in to, yeah, we do have some listeners in China. Trump came in to Nevada and pronounced it Nevada, and somebody corrected him, or lots of people corrected him, and he told
He's
them
probably like, wrong.
Yes, he told them they were wrong. So
Wrong.
It's Nevada. And yeah, we have listeners in China. We have listeners in Poland and Finland and I think Australia.
And one in
Do you have any
Argentina.
Austria?
Argentina. Oh, yeah, Austria. Thank you. I meant Austria.
Yeah, what's wrong
New
with you
Zealand?
today?
I didn't see any New Zealand. We have a lot in California and a lot in Virginia. Of course, the most is in Texas. But yeah, we're starting to spread, but none in Nevada. So I can safely say we offended nobody last week. But if they listen to it 5 years down the road and they get offended, listen to this episode next, and this is my apology. Good?
Great.
Lastly,
Nice.
we got a lot of feedback regarding other listeners' vacation favorites, and a ton of people picked beach destinations, which I completely left off my top 5. Here's a few examples. Kelly Scherf picked Cancun. Josh Peak, Joe Jeter, and Letty Luna all picked a Florida destination. Tracy Bergeson and Jeff Malepsky both picked Cabo. Jeff Malepsky, Samantha Cairo, Alicia MacArthur, and Inez Dipert all picked somewhere in Hawaii. Tracy Bergeson and Jeff Hyatt both listed Atlantis in the Bahamas, and Jeff also picked Malibu. Kirsten Hahn and Ticey Worrell both picked Belize, and similarly, Beth Elder Massey picked Aruba, and Amanda Weston Linskog picked Mexico. We did get some non-beach options, too. Tracy Bergeson listed Crested Butte, Wendy Ziegler, Kristen Vesperman, Jeff Malepsky, and Joanne McGowan all listed Germany, England, and Europe. Beth Elder Massey also listed Italy, and Nick Green picked France. Lastly, Roland Clark, do you remember what was the kid's name on your football team when you played for the Warriors? He was about your size, and his dad was big, strong dude who was a pilot.
Was he the one that I always arm wrestled?
No, that was Lang Barrows. This was I can't remember his name. Anyways, his dad, Roland Clark, is a pilot and sees a lot of the world, and he listed a location that I cannot pronounce that's in Egypt.
Why can't
I
you
should've gone to
pronounce-
Egypt.
Oh, it's in a different language?
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't even write it down because I didn't know how to pronounce it.
You know what I kind of want to visit, but at the same time kind of don't want to visit?
What's that?
It's a Tutankhamun's tomb, or King Tut,
Yeah.
whatever people call him. Because, like,
What you could?
it's like a myth that if you go in and disturb them, you'll die, like, soon.
Yeah,
you know.
You also could have picked him as one of your 5 people to meet for this episode,
Oh, that is true.
since you were having a hard time thinking
Honorable
of
mention.
him. Okay. Well, this got me thinking about what vacation really means to people, and it seems to me that to most people it means a relaxing event like the beach. But to me, vacation has never been that. I mean, beaches are fun and I like them, but my first option is always experience over relaxation. So that's why I really dig the history and culture you get with European destinations. And when we travel, like us as a family, we are always on the go doing things, right?
We should have done top 5 fantasy and real vacations to go.
Fantasy vacations.
like we did for the time travel one.
Yeah,
It was a big wreck.
I don't like mixing them.
I'm going to see those bears in the clouds.
Care Bears?
Care Bears.
That's
yeah.
what my sister and I used to say whenever we travel on a plane when we were kids. We would look for Care Bears in the clouds. So here's another shout out
Did you
to
ever find
Shelley
one?
Moore. Oh, they're imaginary. I mean, fictional. So no.
I don't know that.
Okay. Well, I never found one. But what do you guys think? Do you like vacations that are more like relaxing, or do you like vacations that are more like let's go experience?
Let's go experience.
Same. Okay, you guys ready to move on?
Unless it's like right after wrestling practice, and then I want it relaxing. Like if I got like right after wrestling practice and I walk out the door, there's like if there's a vacation, as soon as I walked out the door, it'd be like a beach.
It'd be a shower, because otherwise you'd get ringworm.
I could just shower
And
in
then we
water.
go to the movie theater on our vacation.
Be quiet. Oh, and I have a better idea. Go to the movie theater and put some sunglasses on.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And what was the other one? Walk on baseball bats?
No.
You said something about like you like the sound of walking on bats in one of our episodes.
I think it was bats falling and hitting the ground. Like
No, I think he said walking on them because I said walking on the snow and he said walking on bats. I'm
No,
pretty
I
sure.
didn't.
I'll go dig that out of the archives. All right, let's move on. Kate, what do you got for your
Number 5.
my number 5, I chose Mozart.
Nice? He's an honorable mention for me.
I just wanted to choose like an Hall of Famer athlete, you know, because like it's such good experience and athleticism and sports. And
Be serious. Why'd you pick Mozart for real?
I want to pick a musical figure. Not anyone currently, because no one's pretty interesting currently, but
That's not
he
true.
sounds pretty interesting. He wrote a lot of stuff, and he was very smart.
He's a genius. He was writing like full-length operas
in, like,
and symphonies
5.
when
and
he was
and his
8
music
years
has
old.
been around like for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
And he's still
have you guys
famous.
seen the movie Amadeus?
Never heard of it. Never will.
It's a great movie. I
Like
think
no.
it was from the
Didn't they play
80s, and I
him
think
in
it won
a
Best
dog?
Picture.
Didn't they use a dog to play him?
No. It's a movie. Mozart's first name is Amadeus,
Amadeus.
and it's a movie about his
Mozart.
life. It's fictional in some sense, but
I wanna see
it
it.
also is,
Based on a true story.
yeah, I guess you could say that. But they
Historical
made it more
fiction.
dramatic than,
I could have chose
In real
Beethoven,
life.
but Mozart's, I like him more.
they're both
Yeah,
up there. It's
me
like
too.
1A and 1B.
I
Yeah.
like Mozart better than Beethoven.
I like Mozart better too, but I think it's because of the movie Amadeus, and you guys should watch it. It's really good.
I like him better because they have really good espresso shakes.
That took me a second there. At Mozart's in Austin.
Yes.
That's what you're, okay. Gotcha. Okay. I
Yeah.
like that. He is an honorable mention for me. Jet, who'd you pick for your number 5?
Tupac.
Ooh, another musical artist.
Told me this upstairs.
Why'd you pick Tupac?
Because also 2 reasons. The main reason I want to know if he's alive or dead. And
Okay. That's a good reason.
And number 2, like he's like an awesome character. I love his music, so I
He's
want
not a character. He's a person.
whatever. And he's awesome. I just want to see him.
Okay. I can respect that. He died, supposedly, allegedly, died on my birthday in 1996 when I turned 16.
When you were liking him, right?
I did like him. I became more of a fan after he died, but I did like his music back then. But I wasn't into rap as much then as I was, in future years. I was
Imagine
more
like taking
into
a picture with them and then putting like an old
alternative grunge.
filter on it and be like, guys, this is a picture of my dad. And he met Tupac.
That
And
would
he'd
be
be like,
cool.
dude, you have the coolest dad ever. Because
Well, Jet's friends don't know who Tupac is. He was telling me this the other day.
Yeah.
he's
so
in like 4th grade. No one knows Tupac.
Yeah.
Except when
so
I did.
there's a special needs kid. He's like awesome.
Yeah,
But-
you and Rylan are friends with him, right?
Yeah, but so he came to school with a Tupac shirt.
That's cool.
And everybody and I was like, dude, look at him. He's wearing a Tupac shirt. And he's like, who's that? And I was like, okay, it's a long story. I'll just get
Kate
into
has
it.
the Tupac shirt.
I love
Yeah.
that shirt.
Yeah. It's probably Jet's now because you might have outgrown it.
I can still wear it. It still fits me a little bit.
No,
Okay.
it doesn't.
See,
Like, you
I
just
had a
want
cool
it.
story about that. I went to school one day, and 2 teachers know Miss Bryan. Yeah, Miss Bryan.
Yeah.
From
She
elementary.
knew it.
Yeah.
She knew that song.
Yeah.
And
see,
she
your
when she knew him.
teachers-
She goes, "Oh, my son loves him."
okay. Well, because like, Miss Bryan's a little bit older than me because her son is like, I think he's graduated high school now. So she's probably a good 10 years older than me. But she's still from that generation. Most of your teachers are like my age, I think. I
And
feel
the other
like.
one was like, "That's not a school appropriate song." Because she I'm
Yeah,
like,
but all your shirt says is "I won't deny you, I'm a straight rider," right?
Yeah,
it
she
doesn't
goes-
have any of like.
it doesn't have any of the explicit words in it. It just
Yeah.
she said, "Oh, it's an appropriate song." I'm like, "Oh, you know Tupac?" She goes, "Yes, I know Tupac." And
Oh, okay.
And then
She
she
didn't
told me
like.
to go back to my seat and get to work. So
She didn't make you like change your shirt though, or
no,
anything. Okay.
that'd be terrible.
Yeah.
I would have posted that on Instagram. I'd walk in the office and taking a video. I'd be like, "Guys, I'm having to change my shirt because it's in explicit songs." And I did a little for you. You
Air
guys can't
quotations.
with my fingers because
Yeah.
you guys can't see that because you guys are listening to this and not watching it, so you can't view it. So
They can view it with their mind's
They
eye.
can imagine it.
Yeah. All right. My number 5. You guys. I'm guessing you guys have this on your list. higher than number 5, but is George Lucas.
He's not on my list.
Not on my list either.
Whoa! That surprises me. Okay. When I first started my list, I was not going to put any living person on it because there's a chance I still might meet them anyway. And this is, to me, is more like a fantasy wish list scenario. But I decided to put George Lucas for a couple reasons. Number one, he's getting up there in age, so he's not going to be around forever, right?
Sadly,
Yeah.
I'm going to cry the day.
Yeah, it'll be very sad. I was very sad when Carrie Fisher passed away, and I didn't think I would be, but I was. And number two, his creative mind has impacted the three of us pretty significantly, I would say. As
I'm
a
not
family.
me without him.
Yeah, I mean, he's his creations have become a very big part of our entertainment and cultural lives. I feel like he's impacted us three a lot.
And movies forever.
And I would love to share that experience with him just to see, because he's a big family guy, and I would like to hear how he responds to that. And I'd also like to pick his brain a little bit in return.
Didn't he make like a dinosaur movie? I think I've watched it. It was good.
He was part of The Land Before Time. He helped produce.
No, there's
that
a
movie.
recent one. There's a recent one where it was about fairies and stuff.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but that's not a dinosaur movie. He did Howard the Duck. He did Willow. He did the Indiana Jones movies.
Wait, he did?
Yeah.
He did Indiana Jones?
Yeah.
You didn't know that?
I thought it was Steven Spielberg.
Steven Spielberg directed. George Lucas created and executive
Characters.
produced.
What is it?
Created the story and then oversaw the filming of it.
And
Okay.
two together, just amazing.
Great combination, right? Okay, so George
Oh,
Lucas.
you can't forget John Williams too with them.
John Williams is a huge part of Star Wars and Indiana Jones. He provides the oxygen
And Harry
of the
Potter.
movie. And Harry Potter, yeah. Those movies are not the same without John Williams. Absolutely.
Its
Absolutely.
music makes it so intense.
Yeah. All right, so moving on, Cade, what is your...
Number 4.
My number 4
Bow, bow.
is David Taylor.
Oh, okay, wrestler.
I'm gonna just take everything out of his wrestling mind and incorporate it into mine.
He is, he loses to Kyle Dake, but
Frustrates me
It's
every time.
frustrating because I like Kyle Dake fine.
Kyle Dake's a
but
great guy, but
David Taylor's style of wrestling is so much more exciting. He's very offensive minded, and he's always attacking, and it's more fun to watch.
it's like Anthony and Braxton. They're just offensive juggernauts.
Yeah.
Yeah, but nobody
Attack,
knows
attack,
that.
attack.
That's okay. It doesn't matter.
Two wrestlers.
But David Taylor, for those that don't know, he was a phenomenal high school wrestler that grew up in Ohio. He wrestled for Penn State for 4 years under Cale Sanderson, who was the only wrestler ever to go undefeated through 4 years of college. Also won a gold medal, maybe the best of all time. He's a coach at Penn State. David Taylor spent 4 years there, won 2 national championships, and the 2 years he lost, the first one, he was upset in the finals by somebody who wasn't supposed to beat him, but he got caught in a cradle and got pinned.
I know that guy was his
Bubba Jenkins.
Bubba- I
And
was
then
about to
his
say,
senior year, he lost to Kyle Dake, who had moved up a weight class. And those two, when they wrestle, it could really go either way every time. It's so close. And in fact, in that match, David Taylor was an inch away from winning that match if they had called that takedown that they didn't call because they said they went out of bounds. Like, David Taylor wins that match, and it's that close, but he did lose to Kyle Dake. But yeah, I love David Taylor. But I'm a bigger David Taylor fan than I am a Kyle Dake fan.
Oh, definitely.
Now, of course, Jordan Burroughs beats both of them.
Pretty good.
But David Taylor almost beat Jordan Burroughs too. Did you watch that freestyle match?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was beating him, and then Jordan Burroughs went in beast mode and caught up and won. It's just
how it is.
just how
Isn't
it
he
is.
a little bit heavier?
That's just
Taylor's
the
a little
way
bit
it
heavier.
is.
He was actually like the weight classes when you're an adult are much bigger classes, so they were
harder
close
to
enough to be in the
cut.
same class. Taylor ended up moving up a weight class and gaining some weight because he couldn't beat Jordan Burroughs, and Kyle Dake was also in that weight class. And there were 3 of the best wrestlers in the world in one weight class. We needed to spread them out for Team America, right?
Yeah.
But when he moved up, he lost to, I think it was Jaden Cox, who was much bigger and cuts to get down to that weight class. So yeah, it's tough. He's in a tough spot. But yeah, good choice. All right, Jet, what do you got for your number 4?
I got Mark McGuire.
Mark McGuire, another athlete. I love it. So
Such a
slugger
great
from
football player.
the Oakland A's, one of the Bash brothers.
I wanted to pick Mark McGuire because I feel like kids, like, I always imagine, like, baseball players, they always wanted to see him in real life and get their autograph and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it would be cool if I got his autograph. He's been retired for quite a while. you know?
He has.
It would
Jet.
be cool to see him.
You should create a slingshot where it should be like the Bash Brothers versus the Splash Brothers.
I don't know what the Splash Brothers are.
I don't
You
It's
do have.
Steph Curry and
Oh, is that what they call themselves?
yeah, and right. It's not my tongue.
Klay Thompson?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, because they drain threes all the time.
Yes.
Gotcha. No, I had heard that before. I would just brain fart. So, Jet, you have a Mark McGuire relic,
Baseball card relic. Yeah.
part of his jersey that's like inside the card, right?
That's cool.
That
Man,
is
I'll
pretty
get
cool.
the autographed.
That would actually be pretty awesome. You get the autograph above it.
Oh, yeah.
Autograph relic.
I have an autograph relic card of Jose Canseco.
Oh, you're lucky.
I don't have Mark McGuire though.
That used to be your favorite player, Jose Canseco.
He was my favorite player when I was a kid. Like I idolized him before I knew who he was.
Did you like look up to him?
Yeah, my mom, she will tell stories about how when I was like 8 years old, I was legitimately upset at her for not naming me Jose Canseco.
Really?
Yeah, that's how much I liked him. I had a record, like those old records that you put on record player that was like the story of Jose Canseco, and I would listen to it. Pretty crazy, right? Wow. So Mark McGuire, I like that choice, Jet. Good job, both you guys. My number 4, I went back and forth between two people for my number 4, and I ended up picking somebody that you guys have never heard of. Her name.
Shouldn't have picked the other one.
You never heard of the other one either. I'll tell you, the one I didn't pick is Tycho Brahe.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him. The one I did pick was Cthulhu. Cthulhu was born in 1260, long time ago. She was the daughter of Kaidu and the niece of Kublai Khan. Have you ever heard of Genghis Khan?
Yeah.
He was a huge conqueror of the Mongolian Empire.
Yeah,
Okay.
I want to learn about him like in history so bad. I want to do an entire just unit on him conquering. So that'd be so cool.
He had the Genghis Khan, the Mongol Empire was actually physically the largest empire the world has ever seen.
Genghis Grill.
And Genghis Grill. She is the great-great-granddaughter of Genghis Khan. She's the son of Kaidu Khan, who was a leader for a while.
She's got a lot of sisters and brothers.
She has, I don't know how many sisters she has, but, I know what you're saying, because Genghis Khan has more offspring than anybody. But direct descendants from her father, she had 14 brothers. I don't know if she had any sisters. But she was the favorite of her father Kaidu, including his 14 sons. She was the
hate when
favorite.
parents do that.
Well, it's a different culture back then, okay? And she had crazy powerful battle abilities, and her exploits were written about by Marco Polo during his travels. You guys know who Marco Polo is?
Never heard of him.
Have you ever heard of the game? Marco!
Polo.
Marco!
Polo.
So he was
I saw a commercial about that. Playing Marco Polo with Marco Polo.
Yeah, okay. So he was an Italian. He was like the world's most famous tourist, basically. He traveled the world a long time ago, and he wrote about it, and his travels were very famous. He described her as a superb warrior. He wrote, sometimes she would quit her father's side and make a dash at the host of the enemy and seize a man thereout as deftly as a hawk pounces on a bird and carry him to her father. She did this many a time. So imagine that. This chick who's part of this like Mongol horde just dashes and grabs somebody and carries them off like a hawk snatching its prey. She was very skilled on a horse and with a bow and arrow, and she assisted her father in many battles, and her prowess and reputation as a warrior began to spread. So the Mongols of Kaidu Khan's clan, they valued physical ability above everything else, and you know how they showed this ability most of the time?
What?
Wrestling. They wrestled each other, and people bet on these matches, and they were like a big deal, and there were no weight classes, and you could just wrestle anybody. And as such,
The biggest guy wins.
Well, no.
And he's like,
listen, as such, Cthulhu insisted that any man that wanted to marry her had to defeat her in a wrestling match. And there were lots of men that wanted to marry her. So the bet was, if she lost, she'd marry you. And if she won, you owed her 100 horses. She went undefeated and ended up with 10,000 horses and no husband.
First of all, that's crazy.
I'd lose one match because it's just, okay, I'm tired of this. I'm lonely.
Yeah.
I'm scary to most people now. Like, I have, like, my backyard, just thousands of horses, and I'd kill a man and not have a problem with it. So I'm scary to most guys. I want to marry someone and have them appreciate
first
me.
of all, that's crazy. Second of all, that's a lot of horses. And third of all, that should probably been the Glenn Solomon fun fact of the week.
I thought about that as I was taking notes on this, but I wanted...
Because he's one of your characters, it'd be kind of weird.
She.
She.
Yeah, this is a
Don't
woman.
want to assume gender.
No, we are assuming gender. This is a woman. So why did I pick her? I don't really know. I just thought she had a really interesting story, and
You would
maybe
like to ask her questions.
maybe I challenge her to a wrestling match.
You would lose.
Yeah, for
She
sure.
would kick your butt.
There was, I guess,
She's like Ronda Rousey in her prime. Like,
yeah.
I wonder how many horses.
It would be
she
awesome though
has.
to like, even if I didn't challenge, because I would probably get hurt. It would be fun to watch her wrestle some guy that's like, "Will you marry me?" and then take all of his horses, right?
Yeah.
You know, Ronda Rousey, and that one match she lost in the championship, like recently, you know?
Yeah. She's
She
lost
made
two.
more money than the girl that
Yeah,
the
because she
one.
drew in more of a crowd.
She made like $3 million off of that match, and the other girl made like
That's how it
1
works.
million or something.
The other guy that I didn't pick, Tico Brahe, I'm not going to go into, but he's really interesting too. I will just say he was an astronomer, and he got in a duel and over an argument about math, and got his nose cut off, and he wore a prosthetic nose that was made out of brass glued onto his face for the rest of his life.
That's pretty awesome.
That's sad.
Yeah,
I thought about it.
We had different reactions to that. That's really sad. That's awesome.
both are true. He also had a very mysterious death. I won't get into it because he didn't make my list. All right, Kate, what do you got for your...
Number 3.
Alonso Vasquez Cabeza de Vaca.
Cabeza de Vaca.
I
So he's
learned about him.
head of the cow. Why did you pick Cabeza de Vaca?
I wanted to pick an explorer, an early Spanish explorer, because I find them really interesting.
Yeah.
And I would have chose like LaSalle, but LaSalle's kind of boring.
LaSalle was like
a bad person.
Yeah, he was like cruel, wasn't he? Didn't he like kill everybody
hold
in
on.
his crew?
I know the most about it because I just learned about it. He was really cruel. A lot of people died on his crew for not just feeding them and torturing them. Also, he was trapped after all 3 ships were broken down with one ship, and then there was 12 men, and one man killed a meat, and then didn't share it, and then they killed the men, and then they thought LaSalle treats them like crap, so they're going to be in trouble, so they killed LaSalle.
Oh.
So
I don't know if
I heard
Cabeza
on
de Vaca
LaSalle's
was a
ship.
good guy. He might have been a bad guy too. I don't know.
I think he was
He's
pretty
really
bad.
prideful, I think. He was like,
He was like Boromir. He does it for
like-
his team.
I'm going to do this for Mexico, and only for Mexico. I'll do whatever I want for Mexico.
Was he Mexican or was he Spanish?
Mexican or
He's Spanish.
I thought he was
think.
Spanish too.
Oh, Spanish.
I think
whatever.
Cabeza de
Well,
Vaca is kind of like Boromir.
I don't.
I wanted to pick an
like
explorer.
Boromir.
Yeah,
Okay.
he does like things for his team, but people don't really want him to do it.
Okay.
He does it anyways.
Well, I want to pick a Spanish explorer because I find them really cool and how they explore things and
It would
the
be-
relations they have with everything else. And I heard on LaSalle's ship that in like the bottom of the ship, a teacher was talking about it. Like there was like 100 men cramped in a tiny room with 2 ox, and one of the oxen, and one of the men rowed, and he was like, the place was covered in urine, and
I
it just
bet.
smelled
Ew.
terrible.
Yeah.
And the oxen, they pooped, and sometimes the men would have to eat the poop because they would starve.
That's
And then
gross.
there was urine everywhere. They slept in urine, and most of them had to sleep standing up
Yeah.
or sleep sitting down, like cramped up.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah, and
Saul's a bad
LaSalle,
man.
LaSalle didn't really care about it. He goes, "Oh, if you die, okay, you didn't make it.
Yeah.
so we're throwing off the ship."
So why would you want to beat him?
He said Cabeza de Vaca,
Oh, yeah.
who I kind of feel also was a bad guy, but I don't remember for sure.
Well, he's a cool Spanish explorer, so I want to pick an.
I get it.
explorer.
You're like, exploring new frontiers, discovering new land, and yada yada yada.
You know,
so
LaSalle is actually. I think LaSalle's a lot worse than Christopher Columbus.
they're both horrible people.
Well, LaSalle's journey was kind of everywhere. Like
Oh,
it didn't
what's a
work.
crap?
Like I get it. He discovered new places and stuff, and
He
he
just.
did it, but like not as much as other Spanish explorers, and he died kind of.
What's even more horrible? He went to look for. I forgot which land he was looking for, but he found something even bigger, but he didn't realize it, so he just left.
Huh.
Yeah, he just left and died. So
Okay. All right, Jet. What do you got for your number 3?
All right. First of all, I think I at least have to include on the list because there's a lot of things we haven't and we should include, and that's Carrie Fisher.
Nice choice. So my roommates thought that Carrie Fisher would be on my list because I told them I had a female on my list, and that was some of their guesses was Carrie Fisher. So I'm glad she made somebody's list. Why'd you pick Carrie Fisher?
I picked Carrie Fisher for the reason I just named, and also she's been around at Star Wars for all 8 all 7 movies except for Rogue One. She's like a legendary character.
She's not in The Phantom Menace, and she's not in Attack of the Clones because she hasn't
Trilogy.
She hasn't been born yet.
Trilogy. Yeah, trilogy. That's what I
Okay.
meant.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
And she's our
one of the-
princess, right? I
Yeah,
mean, she's the princess of the Star Wars
princess,
universe.
General.
Not general. It's
She-
princess.
No, she's a general.
She is a general, but she's more
More
a
of
princess. Yeah, I like that. I like that Big Jet. I would like to meet her too. And she had her struggles in life. In real life, she battled
Drugs,
alcoholism, and probably some drug use, and depression. And she was very vocal about it. And she wasn't bashful about it. And it made it a mission of hers later in life to speak out against, or I guess in favor of the treatment of and awareness for mental issues. So she was very vocal about that. And she was always like, I mean, I've heard her in lots of interviews, and she's just funny and fun to be around, and just a bright light. And it's sad that she's gone. But yeah, good choice. I like
she had
it.
a very white, bright dress in the end of Rogue One.
Yeah, she also wore that in A New Hope, didn't she? Or was it?
Yeah,
Or was it
brighter.
Empire
I
Strikes
was-
Back?
no,
Brighter, though,
I'm pretty
Rogue
sure
One.
it's Empire Strikes
Empire
Back.
Strikes Back. I thought it was A New Hope.
No, it's Empire Strikes Back.
No, because she's wearing it in the beginning of A New Hope.
No,
Is it?
she isn't.
Yeah, she is.
And the beginning of New Hope. Wait. Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm thinking of Empire Strikes Back. I was thinking
I
Hoth.
want to go to
but-
Bespin City.
Yeah.
It's a cool place.
Cloud City on
Cloud City
Bespin,
on
yeah.
Bespin. Yeah.
Where Lando is.
That's a cool place.
We're way into Star Wars now, but
Okay.
good choice, Jet. I like it. All right, my number 3 is Albert Einstein.
Oh, he's my number 2.
Oh, is he really?
Yes.
about him.
There's just something magical about his genius to me, and I know there are other super
And
geniuses
he's weird.
like Stephen Hawking and these other guys, and they're awesome too. But there's something special about Albert Einstein to me.
I think he's the smartest man not alive. The smartest
Ever?
man ever.
He might be. I don't know. I mean, his
Knowledge for things is.
his famous things he discovered, like the theory of relativity and gravity and quantum physics and
He
E equals
discovered
MC
gravity?
squared. No, he didn't. But he changed the way we thought about it. And E equals MC squared. It's all become legend. But on top of that, he had like the way he looked. He had a very endearing look about him. He had the crazy hair. He had kind eyes and a big smile. And he had like very interesting and what I find to be refreshing philosophical views about humanity, the way he looked at life and the way he looked at people, the purpose of science, how we relate to one another. I read this book. In fact, it's on my shelf somewhere over here.
I was looking for it.
And it's my favorite nonfiction book I've ever read. It's a biography about Albert Einstein, and you learn so much about him. He's just a very special person. And I think of all the people that I could possibly think of to meet, he would be the most interesting one to have a conversation with.
Definitely. I want to, first thing I want to know, how he expands his mind to think of what he does. I watched a video on it, the theory about the
Relativity?
relativity. How do you think of that? The farthest I can think is it's kind of weird.
Well, I think the idea of it is you don't limit yourself to one thought, or you don't stop. Most of us, we start thinking about something, and 5 minutes in, we've either moved on to the next subject, or we've concluded that that's as much thought as we can give that particular topic.
I do that all the time.
Okay, Albert Einstein doesn't. He continues,
So he thinks of something and he keeps thinking
and
of
it
it.
evolves over time, and you just develop his thoughts and his theories over time, and he was obviously genius and was able to expand the way he thought and the way other people thought about things.
I also want to talk about how he felt about the bomb.
Yeah, he was not a fan of
The death.
of war or of nationalism, and he ended up moving to the United States at some point.
But he was German.
Yeah, but he was also Jewish, or he came from a Jewish family.
Wow, that's multiple sides there. But he's really cool.
Really, it's not Germans and versus United States versus it was evil Nazis versus not evil non-Nazis. He was a not evil non-Nazi guy.
So basically, we're all the continents, part of every continent involved in that, or
No, but a lot of the world was. It was mostly in Europe, but it also included Asia because Japan was part of the war. And it's going, when you have a war of that magnitude, it's going to affect the rest of the world. There's no way it's not. Okay, let's move on.
Imagine a war like that, right? Like a war like that right now.
It would be catastrophic. Let's hope it never happens. Cade, what's your
Number 2.
Albert Einstein, right?
Yes.
Anything else to add?
Bow, bow.
So we if you don't know why Kate's singing the song, we recently watched Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And
It's stuck in my head, and I've been randomly throughout the day just bow, bow.
Yeah, I also reminded him of an Easter egg in Deadpool because he's singing the song and like he's just singing the song. It's not an Easter egg, but he's in the same exact rope and he's talking to the audience like Ferris Bueller.
He breaks the fourth wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like it's an Easter egg.
Yeah. All right, Chet, what do you got for your number 2?
I got Harrison Ford.
Awesome. Another Star Wars actress. You got 2 Star Wars actors on your list. Okay. So why Harrison Ford?
Because I'm pretty sure, first of all, I want to talk to him a lot because the stories you told me, it doesn't seem like he's that talkative of a guy.
Who cares? That's my Harrison Ford impression. Yeah, it's kind of strange because he's not a very talkative guy and he doesn't show much emotion when you see him do interviews and things like that. And he was like that forever. And he often would not talk down, but he would like not really want to talk about Han Solo, the character. He was done with Star Wars. Then when The Force Awakens came around, he was a totally different guy. He was like excited to be in it and would do like funny skits and stuff on talk shows when he'd go on to like Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon, and he was very animated about it, and it was very strange to see him like that. And now I think it's because he knew his character was finally getting killed off, and he was happy about it.
Finally, I'm dead.
So what's your favorite Han Solo movie? Only one movie.
I mean, what do you mean? Like, what's your favorite movie that Han Solo's in?
A New Hope.
I didn't mean to say Han Solo. What's your favorite Harrison Ford movie?
A New Hope.
Well, let's cross off Star Wars.
No. Pick one. Pick
Okay.
a movie.
Okay.
I don't know.
Empire Strikes Back. Because that's my favorite movie of all
A New
time.
Hope. But
I'm going to say Indiana Jones, the original, Raiders of the Lost Ark, because when I say Harrison Ford movie, I'm thinking Harrison Ford's role in that movie.
Because Harrison
And
Ford's
I
not
like-
the main character in
Well,
Star Wars.
it doesn't even matter as the main character. I like the character of Indiana Jones more than I do Han Solo.
That honestly, I disagree with that.
That's fine. They're both great characters.
Your
But-
opinion intrigues me,
but
in a good way.
It kind of leads
wow,
me
that's
towards Indiana Jones, maybe because I want to be an archaeologist when I grow up.
Yeah, you do. So there you go. All right, we ready for my number 2?
Yeah.
Sure.
For my number 2, we have to bring in a special guest. You guys ready for this?
Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
Dr. Smile friend.
Hi, Mom, or Granny, as the boys would call you. Welcome to the episode 5 to 1.
Awesome. Thank you guys for inviting me.
This is our first Skype
This
we've
is our
ever
first
done.
Skype call, so we're excited about this.
Mine too.
Yours too. Okay. Well, we are on to our number 2, and Kate and Jet just did theirs, so I'm on to my number 2. And my number 2 on the list of people I would like to meet is Pap.
Who's
Pap is my great-grandfather, and he is the only one of the 4 great-grandparents. He's the only one I never got to meet. He passed away right before I was born, right?
that really sucks.
Correct. Actually, yes, you were born in 1980, and he died in 1979.
Oh my god.
Coincidentally enough, tomorrow, February 2nd, would have been his 111th birthday.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. He
So
was
this is
110 years old?
no. If he was still alive tomorrow, he'd be turning 111,
Oh, never mind. I'm
like
sorry,
Bilbo
I'm sorry.
Baggins. Okay.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
He
So-
was born in 1906.
Wow. So I never got
Yeah.
to meet him, but I've heard stories about. You've told me stories about him. Didn't he teach you how to drive?
He did. He did teach all of us how to drive, and coincidentally enough, he had a great sense of humor, and he would take us. They had bought burial plots, and then there was another cemetery nearby that was more of an Oriental one, and so all the gravestones there, most of them had pictures and things, and so he thought it was funny for him to teach us to drive in the cemeteries because we'd always look for their plots, and then he would joke that if we had an accident, we were in the right place.
You were already ready.
Well, yeah, but then he taught all of us to drive in the cemeteries. Yeah.
Wow. That's really
Cool.
cool. Yeah, so I've
He's
always
110,
Is it a pet
he would
cemetery?
be 100 turning 111 tomorrow.
but he is 110
Yeah.
technically.
Yes, he was born 110 years and 364 days ago. He was born.
What about counting leap days?
Okay, maybe a few more. Whatever.
And a little bit of like milliseconds off of each year. That's like off.
That's why we have the leap days. So, did you have any other stories or cool information about Pap that we could include on our show?
It's as far as being a grandfather, he was awesome. They only had the one child, which is my mother, and then, of course, she had 4. So they all had 4 grandchildren, and it's quite of a difference when you go from one child and then you have 4 grandchildren coming to visit you.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But, he was very entertaining. You have to remember that this was in a different era and time when I was a child with him. And he always came up with what, as a kid, was great fun. When we would go down there, in the evening, of course, because, we're down there without friends and stuff. We're just with our grandparents. And in the evening, he gave us all a flashlight, and we could go outside with a flashlight and hunt bugs and spray whatever bug we happened to find. It made it more fun at night. It was something to do, and you got to use a flashlight and everything.
Was Mimi able to kill a June bug?
If they're, whatever.
Did you say Mimi?
Yeah, doesn't she love June bugs?
Mimi wasn't alive yet because
This
she
is
was
her
born
as a
after
kid.
me.
Oh,
She's
that's
talking.
true.
Granny's talking about when she was a kid.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm
Well, now,
brain fart again.
Jamie was born when I was 10 years old, so she, when we were doing that stuff, we were younger. Which now today people would go, you let your kid play with pesticides,
Yeah.
but it was a can of Raid, and nobody misused it or sprayed the other person or anything. But we were real happy with our flashlights and stuff. He had a bucket under the carport hanging up, and we would get it down, and he grew mealworms
Ew.
that we would take to go fishing.
Oh, cool.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's saving money, but disgusting.
Yeah, but back then people did a lot of things. It was a different time, and you could. They were in kind of I would call it a sawdust kind of thing. They were dry and stuff, and you dig in there and you could get some worms out and whatnot. He also took every evening while we were there. After dinner we would go to the Walgreens because they had soda fountains still in them then.
Oh, yeah.
And we would.
like a water fountain.
No,
with
like a soda fountain dispenser
Oh.
where they have them at every restaurant now.
Oh,
Well, this was like the old-timey one where you went and sat at the counter on the round stools, and they had ice cream.
yeah.
And we would go there, and we got a chocolate soda every day. And I don't know, he was fun. We would go out, and he'd wear his big Stetson hat. And David and I, my younger brother, we always went together because we were the closest in age and we played well together. And he would tease us, and we'd be walking in the mall, and he'd pretend he was the sheriff, and he'd say, "Get along, you two. Get along, you two. You're going to the Hoos Gal." Just in fun. And we're walking down the middle of the mall doing that. You know? I mean, he was just a really fun guy.
Yeah, I mean, you've told me stories about him before, and it's fun to hear them now, and he sounds like he was really fun, and I wish I had been able to meet him. But fortunately for my boys, they have a grandma who's pretty fun, too.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I'm sure that you maybe learned some of that or picked up some of that funness about you from your experiences with Pap.
Well, yeah, I think so, because he played with us. I'll tell you a funny story. That's when we would go, they had a little 2-bedroom house, and so
was that in San Antonio?
In San Antonio, and that's where I was born. That house they built when my mom was 2 years old, and they always lived in that house. They never moved. It was so. my family moved around a little bit with my dad's job, but that was always the place that was always the same.
Yeah.
And so when we would spend the night, my older brother would get the fold-out couch, and David and I would get cots. And so he would come out, and he told us a bedtime story every night while we were there. And as kids, you would remember them. I didn't realize that he was just making them up. And so the next time we would go, we'd say, "Oh, tell us the story about such and such again." And he was like, "Oh, no." But he made it up anyway. But he got to a thing, and he would tell the bedtime story first in Chinese.
Huh.
He could speak fluent Chinese.
Well,
He's an interpreter.
he spoke it. He said it in Chinese, and then he would tell it to you in English.
Huh.
And I think I was probably 13 years old before I realized my grandfather could not speak Chinese.
Oh, I got tricked.
But yeah, so he was just a fun guy. He did a lot of things like that.
Yeah.
I remember they built the first Whataburger that in San Antonio on their side of town.
Yeah.
And it was the one where, it was the A-frame buildings that they used to be.
Yeah.
And he loved to go there, and he would come in sometimes in the afternoon, and he'd ask us, because he liked to get just a burger.
Just a burger.
Yeah, because, they had the Whataburger, and then just a burger was the little one, and he'd come in and he'd go, "Hey, guys, you want to go get just a burger?" And so it was a lot of fun. He took us fishing. He took us to the coast.
I've never been fishing.
Same.
And yeah, we did a lot of that. That's where that all started from. And then, of course, your dad, I took your dad and your Aunt Mimi to the same exact place that he used to take us.
Yeah.
And that's where that all started, was going on, we'd go to visit him, and then we'd go down to the coast and fish. And that's where I learned all that stuff.
That's awesome.
It's great.
So.
I wish I could have met him. That's why he's on my list of people I wish I could have met.
I know that. And I've said a lot forever and ever. I said he would have just absolutely loved you. He was a great kid person, and you would have been his first, you were his first great grandchild. He just didn't quite make it.
Yeah.
And we had gone on a fishing trip, and we went to the old causeway.
I remember the causeway.
Mm-hmm. And he took us out on a boat, and we caught 89 fish that day.
Oh my gosh.
And one of them,
Never caught one.
one of them was a flounder. We caught a flounder. And we had such a great trip. And that was probably, October, November. And so we were going to go back in the spring. And he was all excited because we had such a great trip, and I was going to go back in the spring to go on a trip with him again, just down to the coast. And he was very excited, and he started, updating his fishing reels and everything. And then, unfortunately, he passed away just a couple of months after that.
Oh.
So
well, at least you got to have that experience with him near the end. That something good to remember.
Yeah, it was awesome because, it was a great trip, and he just had a blast with it.
Yeah.
And so that was a very good memory, even though we didn't make it to the because it was such a great trip. He was very excited, and he had such a good time.
Yeah, yeah.
So, they were the grandparents that I would go and visit every summer with my brother. We'd get to go and stay 2 weeks. And it was just such a good time, and we just loved being around them, that as I grew into an adult, it's where I spent all my vacations.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I remember going down, to the Suntan Motel.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
In Rockport, and I remember going to the Causeway. I remember getting stuck in the bathroom at the Causeway.
Yes, I remember that.
Nice, Dad.
That was a nightmare for a young child. I was very scared. There were lots of bugs in there.
Oh. How did you get stuck?
I
Did
couldn't
your
open the
feet get in?
door. No, I
He couldn't open the door. And
Just go under.
The bathroom
It's
was
not like that.
outside, around the side of the shack where you bought your bait, and I was inside, and it, kind of noisy because the shrimp are live, so they got the machines bubbling and everything. And I finally heard him, and I was like, "Oh my God, that's Chris."
Yeah.
So he was stuck.
Traumatized. No, but I loved the causeway though. I remember, I know we never caught 89, but there were some nights we would stay there all night, and we caught quite a few fish there a few times too.
We did. We caught quite a few, and it was nice because it was the causeway was the old road that was the bridge, and when they made a larger one for the ships to go through, they just left both sides came out to a certain point of the bay. So there was no traffic. You parked your car and you walked down there.
Yeah.
And it was the road, and we just
brought blankets and
cooler.
And
your sister was younger, so she would fall asleep.
Yeah.
And we had our cooler and our blankets, and we would fish pretty much all night. We could probably come home around 2 or 3 or 4 in the morning, depending on what luck we were having.
Right.
Wait, so when you were stuck in the bathroom, we were like, "Mom."
Yeah.
Yes, he
Oh
was.
my
He was
gosh.
hollering, "Mom."
Yeah.
I
So
felt
were you
so
like
bad.
embarrassed?
I was pretty young, so I don't.
He was pretty young. I think he was more upset because, like I said, he was stuck in there, and
I was just
with
relieved
those
to get out.
lights, the lights, the bugs were attracted to him, and you're over the water, and so there was lots of things flying around at that area, not where we were fishing, but I felt terrible.
I was just
like,
relieved
"Oh
to
my
get
gosh."
out.
Yeah. Yes, I saved you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Mom, thanks for talking to us about Pap. That was fun.
Well, thank you for inviting me, guys. Granny loves you.
You're welcome.
We love you too.
All right.
All right, Mom. Talk to you later.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. So yeah, Pap, my number 2. I never got to meet him, and
All right,
always
moving
wanted
on
to. Moving on,
to-
Kate. What do you got for your
Number 1.
boom, boom?
Your turn, Jet.
Boom.
Oh yeah. All right, Kate. What do you got for your number 1?
Leonardo da Vinci.
Honorable mention for me.
He's just great at everything.
True
like,
Renaissance man. Yeah, he was great at everything.
He had a lot of jobs, but I think he's most known for as an artist.
Because of the Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
He also invented a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, like helicopter. He invented a tank.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Tank.
Yeah, he was a true genius.
He did the.
I also think it would be fun to meet him, not just because of his genius, but because like he was part of some like secret society and knew all these secrets, and I want to ask him about that stuff.
like, hey, you know that thing?
I'll be like,
I'd
hey
be like,
dude, I
wink,
read the Da
wink.
Vinci Code, and I know you got some secrets. Dan Brown told me so let me know what you got going on. I also should point out that I assume that anybody that we pick for any of these, like, we can communicate with them even if they don't speak English.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like Da Vinci. He was honorable mention for me, and I thought I had like categories of people for my list. I had, famous influential people, I had celebrities, and I had athletes, and he was near the top for my influential people, but didn't quite make the list. I put Einstein instead, basically.
Einstein.
But a good choice. All right, Jet, what's your number 1?
My number 1 is an actor.
An actor, can I guess?
Yeah.
Brad Pitt.
Not
No,
even close.
I think it's probably Mark Hamill.
No, you know me. What is it?
Why am I drawing a blank? Once you say it, I'm going to be like, duh.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, Arnold Schwarzenegger, duh.
Obviously.
All right. So I would say Arnold Schwarzenegger because when I was a kid, I was like, I grew up watching Star Wars number 1 and 2, probably Terminator.
Yeah, you have always loved Terminator.
I've watched Terminator so many times. Definitely number 2 the most times, no doubt.
Yeah, you've always loved Arnold. You love Predator.
I like Terminator better.
I know, but I'm saying you also love Predator. Arnold, he's I don't know. I mean, he would be interesting to meet. I think he's he spent time as governor, and then he got back into acting, and his career hasn't really taken off the way it was before his political experience. And now he's
Governors, just what?
I know, but now he's the host of that new, or not the new show, but the Celebrity Apprentice that Donald Trump used to host back in the day.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump's slogan when he was on that show was "You're fired," or he fired everybody, and Arnold's is "You're terminated."
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And apparently they got in a Twitter battle like Donald Trump likes to do. And Donald Trump was saying something about how his ratings were better than Arnold's were.
What did Arnold say?
He said something about he hopes he focuses on his presidency as much as he does his...
Fight me!
No, as much as he does his Twitter battles or something. Like Arnold took the high road, basically. Donald Trump's a freaking idiot, man. All right, let's not get political on here. Moving on, can I get to my number one, or is there anything else you want to say about Arnold?
Wait, let me try to guess it.
Okay, go ahead. What's your guess?
That is very hard. I would say no idea.
Okay, do you got any guesses?
Wait,
I want to see like
I have
a
it.
fictional battle. Donald Trump versus like a Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No, that's not.
Do you have any guesses for who my number one is?
Oh! I thought you guys were so like if you had anything.
No.
Done.
I think I know.
What do you think, Jed?
Ken Griffey Jr.
Close.
Mickey Mantle.
Yes, Cade got it. Mickey Mantle is my number one.
Well, if it wasn't for me,
Take
Cade
his
wouldn't get it.
autograph, right?
Well, I would probably ask for his autograph.
Why
but
Mickey Mantle? Ken Griffey Jr. is your favorite.
Here's why. Ken Griffey Jr. is still alive, and I still might meet him. He might do an autograph signing, and I could pay for a ticket and go get it. Okay? Mickey Mantle is dead, and I can't meet him. So he's on my wish list of people I'd like to meet. There's something mystical about the fame of Mickey Mantle. I mean, he's one of the greatest players of all time, and in fact, ESPN did their top 100 players of all time, and they did every position, and he came in at number 6.
Who was number one, Babe Ruth?
Babe Ruth was number 1. Willie Mays was number 2. Hank Aaron, number 3.
It must be called Ty Cobb.
Ted Williams, number 4, and Barry Bonds, number 5. Barry Bonds is interesting because he
Barry
would not
Bonds
be
cheated, though.
Yeah, so he would not be nearly as high as number 5 without cheating, but he would also be higher than number 5 if he hadn't cheated based on his career statistics. Like he should be like number 2 probably based on his career stats, but he cheated, so he's 5. But he wouldn't be 5 if he hadn't cheated. He'd be somewhere lower. I mean, he had a great career, but not a number 5 career. Anyway, Mickey Mantle had an incredible combination of power and speed that the game had never seen before. He was a phenomenal athlete, and in fact,
Does he seem like unreal? Like, nah, I can't be real.
yeah, like he hit a home run against the Washington
565.
Senators, 565
If I think
feet.
about
I'm
it, I
surprised you know about that.
I think I like
Behind
Mickey
you.
Mantle.
Oh, it's on my screensaver.
I think I like Mickey Mantle more than Babe Ruth a little bit.
I think
I
I do
do
too.
too.
I mean, I love both of them, but
I
Mickey
think
Mantle.
Babe Ruth,
There's,
the pointing thing was a lie. I think it was a lie.
I don't know, but 565
it-
feet is also probably a lie. I mean, they couldn't accurately measure them back then, and the way, in fact, his publicist is the one who said it was 565 feet because
they probably
he hit a home
walked.
run out of the stadium, and the dude went and found the ball, and some kid found it in a neighborhood and showed him where it landed, and then he said he walked off the paces, and it was 565
I
feet.
highly that's not.
They've researched
true.
it since then, and a better estimate is probably 535 feet, which is
Still
still a
insane.
monster home run. I mean,
gosh.
it's crazy. He wasn't huge either. He wasn't one of these. He weighed about 180 pounds, which is not gigantic for an athlete.
I imagine being that kid, like, baseball.
Yeah,
Like, how did this get here?
the kid got $100 for that ball.
Oh my gosh,
That's a lot back then.
Yeah.
that's a lot right now to me.
But I'd actually like to meet Mickey Mantle at 2 different points in his life. Okay, the first one is, well, let me put it this way. I would love to meet him when he was at the peak of his career, like in 1956-57 when
Blonde
he
hair,
was
blue eyes, was it?
yeah, when he hit for the Triple Crown and was the best player on the world at that time. I would love to meet him at the height of his
I
fame and
wouldn't
popularity.
want to meet him on his drugs,
Alcohol.
alcohol.
But I would
Same
also like to meet him in 1951 when he was a rookie for 2 reasons.
Bro, you're gonna be good.
So
I
yeah,
know it.
bro, you're going to be really good. Lay off the alcohol, right? Because it's going to ruin your body.
that goes with the time travel.
But
He would be
even
number
more than that,
one.
I would say Mickey Mantle in the playoffs, and you guys are going to make the World Series this year, and you're going to be playing in right field because even though you're a center fielder, you're going to be playing in right field because Joe DiMaggio is in his last year. He's going to retire, and he's a legend, and he's already on this team, and he's your center fielder. And he's a kind of a jerk, and he's not going to talk to you very much. And there's going to be a ball that's going to be hit in between you guys. And it's really your ball, but just back off earlier and let Joe get it. Because what happened to Mickey in 1951 when he was a rookie, he was running full speed to catch this ball in the World Series. And then he let up to let Joe DiMaggio get it because he was paying respects to the great legendary Joe DiMaggio, and he came to a full stop while he was running, and his foot landed on a drain that was in the right center. And
what do you mean by drain?
a drain in the ground that drains water. Okay, and they had it.
On the field.
I don't know, but he wasn't familiar with it, and it ripped up his knee to shreds.
Oh, wait, he lost his knee?
He tore his muscle, his ligaments, and his cartilage.
Ow.
Totally changed him for the rest of his career, and he was a rookie, and he still managed to hit 536 home runs and bomb 565 or 540-foot home runs,
He
whatever.
had a very, very, very short career.
He had a 17-year career, but
That's a
was
lot.
injured for 255 games out of those 17 years. That's a season and a half of baseball he missed due to injuries, and
Okay.
it all stemmed from this knee injury. Every injury he had spiraled out of control
This
from
is reminding me
this.
of Bo Jackson.
He could have what could have been if that hadn't happened. I mean, he was
Same for
still
Bo
one of the
Jackson.
greats of all time.
Time travel to the
Bo
stations.
Jackson's different. Bo Jackson was all potential and he got hurt. Mickey Mantle still played 17 years and was still one of the best of all time. What if he had never gotten hurt?
Then you would
Time travel
You
destinations.
would probably
The right time, just
It's more
push
like
him
Ken
back.
Griffey Jr.
And then-
than it is like Bo Jackson. Ken Griffey Jr. is also one of the best of all time, but also only played half a career because of his injuries, right? It's just so sad because it happened his rookie season. And
life isn't fair.
affect him his entire career.
it really did. His knee. There's an X-ray that it's public record at this point. His knee had no cartilage in it. It was bone on bone. Like when you look at an X-ray of a knee, there's like a gap in between your thigh bone and your tibia and the bone on the bottom part of your leg. That gap is like a cushion of cartilage. So when you run, there's like this cushion that keeps your bones from grinding on each other. Mickey Mantle had no cartilage.
Oh my gosh.
His
so what
bones
did
just
he
grinding
do?
on each other.
Yes, and experts have said now that he is what they call a neuromuscular genius, meaning that his body is so strong, his muscles are so strong, and his brain reacts in such a quick way that even though there's this massive injury going on at all times on his leg, he could compensate for it by these other things that normal humans are not able to do. And that's what allowed him to be as great as he was, even with these injuries. He would tape his knees up every game so tight, and then afterwards he'd take the tape off, and they would be bleeding because they were so tight. But that's the only way that he could like survive
Was
a
he
game.
still good though?
Yeah, he's one of the greatest players of all
Was he
time.
still good with his knee?
He played 17 years with a bad knee.
Oh my god!
It happened his rookie season. That's what I'm
You
trying
not
to tell
look-
you.
Listening at
So
all.
what happened? So, how did he get into alcohol and stuff?
So the alcohol is kind of a convoluted story that would take a lot of time to tell here, but he had a
Make a long
fear.
story short.
Yeah, he had a fear that he was going to die young. His father died when he was just 40. His father was 40 years old. His uncle died even younger than that.
Oh my God,
they
that's
had,
horrible.
They had his father had Hodgkin's lymphoma, and his uncle and a lot of his family died young because they were miners. They lived in a mining town in Oklahoma. So he always thought he was going to die young, and it was a legitimate fear. He just didn't think he was going to live that long
So he
anyways.
just drank alcohol.
He was also, when his father died, his life changed. He was very easily influenced, and he made friends with Billy Martin, who was a Yankee and a big partier, and they just lived that lifestyle for a long time, and he didn't know anything different. And his dad wasn't around, and his dad controlled every decision. He was close to his dad, but his dad was very controlling, controlled his life, made sure he was in line. Okay, when his dad passed away and he didn't have that anymore, he just kind of was reckless. And he was a big drinker, and it cost him. It cost him probably. It shortened his life almost definitely,
How
and it
old
also
did he
cost
live?
him his career. He didn't die super young. I want to say he died in 1995, maybe, and I think he was born in 1930s. So probably 60 in his 60s when he passed away.
Still young.
A lot of people compare.
I don't think that's really that young. I mean, I think 80 is actually a pretty
70.
old life.
Yeah, 80 is a good long life. So who is the best player in today's game? I mean, almost unanimously, people say Mike Trout is the best player in
I'll
today's
say
game.
Mike Trout.
I think Chris Bryant.
I love Chris Bryant. He's my favorite
Trout's
player.
better, I
He's
think,
not the
though.
best player. Mike Trout is definitely better, at least right now. Chris Bryant still has room to improve, but Mike Trout is the best player in baseball right now. I don't really like him, and you guys know that, but he's really
I don't really like him
he's
either.
truly a great player. and he's played 6 seasons in the majors. And a lot of people compare him to Mickey Mantle because
number one is like takes forever. Every episode,
I know,
especially the time travel episode. That took like 40 minutes for your number one.
Well, we're getting there, but Mike Trout has played 6 seasons, and his stats are comparable to Mickey Mantle's through his first 6 seasons. In fact, they have almost identical amount of games and at bats. Mike Trout has 10 more hits, 917 to 907. Mickey Mantle has scored 42 more runs. He had more home runs, 173 to 168. He has more RBIs.
I think one day, what's it called?
You're interrupting.
Mickey Mantle's gonna beat it though.
Mickey Mantle's gonna beat what?
No,
you mean Mike Trout? Well, Mickey. Okay, so he led in most categories: more home runs, more RBIs, more runs. He walked more and struck out less. His batting average was a little bit higher. His on base percentage was higher. His slugging percentage was higher, but they were all close. Okay, so Mickey Mantle has the advantage in most offensive categories. Mike Trout has more steals and more doubles, basically, but they're similar across the board, and a lot of people compare them. In fact, Mickey's nickname was the Commerce Comet because he was from Commerce, a small town in Oklahoma, and Mike Trout's is the Millville Meteor. So they're very similar nicknames even. But the thing about it was Mickey did all that on one leg. He had those first 6 seasons on one leg. His other leg was crap. And if he hadn't been so horrifically injured, what would those first 6 seasons have looked like? Not on top of that, Mickey's 7th and 8th seasons were the best seasons of his career. That's when he hit for the Triple Crown and hit 52 home runs and won the batting average title and the RBIs, and they were historically great seasons. It's unlikely that Trout will have that level of success ever, really, but he'll have a much longer career, most likely, because he's healthy. And I don't know. I just want to go and warn him about the drain and try to convince him to curb the drinking some. And that's it. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's my number one. Kate, you got any honorable mentions? Oh, also, I would ask him for a baseball card. All right. What are your honorable mentions, Kate?
You kind of got over one, You got the one I had. I didn't really have any this time, so.
Okay, Jet, you got any?
Zip.
No.
I had a ton, and I narrowed them down. I'll just name off a few. Obviously, Ken Griffey Jr., and I told you why I left him off. Kurt Cobain.
Oh, crap. I should have put him on my list.
I thought about including him for a long time, but in the end, I chose not to because his life was really, really sad and very different than mine.
And
while I appreciate,
let's not get into that, though.
While I appreciate his music and his talent, his lifestyle and choices were something I just wouldn't want to witness. I don't really want to see that. So I'll appreciate him from afar. I thought about going into the future and meeting my grandkids, but I hope to do that in real life, so I chose not to do that from my wish list. Historically, I had Da Vinci, Nikola Tesla, Shakespeare, Mozart, Michelangelo, Aristotle. Athletes, I had Babe Ruth, Ernie Banks, Michael Jordan. And my crush that I've had celebrity crushes that have come and they'll be my number one celebrity crush for like 2 weeks and then they won't. But I've had one that's really been there for like 15 years.
Who?
Charlize Theron.
Don't know her.
She was the lead actress from Mad Max, the one that had the shaved head.
Oh, she's really hot.
Yeah, she's super beautiful.
I mean, she's pretty, but why do you think she's super cute?
I just always have. I always thought she was really,
she's like
really
the
beautiful.
best girl with short hair.
She
best looking girl with short hair.
That girl, she kind of looks like the girl from Deadpool.
No.
They look a little bit.
Who's the girl from Deadpool?
The fire one.
Fire girl. That was.
They look.
I can't even remember what she looks like.
No, she's not emo.
She wore a lot of black.
She wears yellow.
And
Oh no, she doesn't look like Charlize. You're really bad at this game. Her hair looks like Charlize's. Her face does not at all. All right, so let's move on. If you guys had to pick a celebrity crush, who would you pick?
Don't know.
I don't know.
I didn't think you'd have
Brad Pitt.
Nice. All right, so Kate, what is your
The worst.
Well, kind of hard to think of the worst because I could talk to really anyone and have an interesting conversation about them because I like learning new things and everything seems interesting if someone's really good at it.
Yeah.
So I just chose my principal, Mr. Coder. He's very unsocial. He's very he's like, okay, I don't like this topic. Can we change it? Like, they did an interview with him about college, and they're like, "What college did you go to?" He goes, "I went to North Texas." And what did you enjoy about it? Mostly, I had some fun classes. No, he just seems so boring.
He's like Snape. He's like Snape, really.
No, Snape's cooler. A lot
No,
cooler.
Snape. If you were in class and you didn't know any of this Harry Potter universe, you'd think
He's like
Snape is
mean
boring.
though. This guy's just lifeless. Like, okay.
Okay, well, that's
and
fine.
he wears a little tiny bow tie on his shirt.
Oh,
and
man,
he
I
has,
already don't like him.
And his beard, it's like you know the guy from the Hunger Games, one of the announcers. He's just like a weird
Yeah.
beard. His beard goes down to like
He has got
his
like a neck beard.
and then it like stops at a sharp point down on his neck.
Huh.
And
Weird.
It looks very ugly.
For lack of a
Weird,
better word.
weird,
Yeah.
weird.
Okay.
And just,
Good
no-
choice.
no fun, no
I
fun.
understand why you picked him. Jet, who's your worst?
Hitler.
Hitler's the obvious choice, right?
but he's interesting.
He is, but
honestly.
he is.
He's a terrible person, but he's very interesting. Like,
Why would you want to
he's
ever?
responsible for killing 11 million
And you
people.
would want to meet him in real life?
No, I get what Kate's saying. He's more interesting than Kate's principal.
he's an Olympic swimmer.
I'll give you that.
I can tell you that.
He was Times Person of the Year before he killed 11 million people. Like, I get that he's interesting. He's also extremely evil and horrible. And I thought about him for my number one. I also considered Idi Amin, who was a Ugandan dictator and another evil person. But in the end, I chose another girl, a woman. I picked Elizabeth Bathory. Bathory? I don't know how to pronounce her last name.
I should have chose a Cash Me Outside. How about that girl? She's annoying. Hayden found her Instagram, and she's verified because of the Dr. Phil.
Oh, wow. Yeah, she's pretty famous now. Well, I don't know if Elizabeth Bathory ever said Cash Me Outside.
I shouldn't have made honorable mention. Some people don't know.
That's-
What?
Continue. You've already interrupted me. You might as well finish.
That girl from Americans Got Talent with like that bonji.
What?
With the guitar, the little
The
girl.
younger girl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would want to meet her.
Is she your celebrity crush one?
No, but
Okay. I know who you're talking
I'd
about.
be Kate's celebrity crush. She's her.
She's 12.
No,
Like me.
Yeah.
she is Kate's age.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Okay.
She's 12.
No, I was trying to say that, then you copied.
So Elizabeth Bathory is also sometimes referred to as Countess Dracula. She lived in the late 1500s in Hungary, and she was part of a noble family. And the Guinness Book of World Records has labeled her as the most prolific female serial killer in
who's
history.
your worst?
Elizabeth Bathory, also known as Countess Dracula.
You don't listen, and then you interrupt.
This serial killer, she tortured and killed up to 650 young girls. And folklore has it that she chose young girls in particular because she would bathe in their blood,
Disgusting. I would hate.
believing it would help her retain her youth, keep her looking young. She would pull in. She started with only noble girls. She'd have them work in the castle and then torture them and kill them and bathe in their blood. And then when she ran out of those, she started picking commoner girls
Just to look young.
just to keep herself looking young. And I won't describe the torture here because it's really sick, but this is one lady that I would absolutely never want to meet. Two current people that came to mind were Tim Duncan, for no good reason other than I just don't like him, and Donald Trump. All politics aside, I just get really annoyed when I see him or hear him.
He looks like
Wrong.
so dumb.
So I have a new segment. I don't have a bumper for it, so I'm just going to kind of do one. Listener choices. Make laser sounds.
Pew, pew, pew.
I put this question on Facebook and I got some responses back, and I don't have all of them because people still responded, kept going today, but I wrote down a few. Patrick Bennett, your uncle, chose Bruce Lee.
Oh, yeah.
Mary Tazarek picked Betty White, who is the
I know Betty White.
you know Betty White.
No,
okay.
I don't.
Esther Felt picked Robin Williams, who recently passed
yeah.
away.
no.
Hope Aldridge picked Steven Tyler, lead singer from Aerosmith.
Oh, he's awesome. He's just like a cool dude.
Kristen Terrence picked Janis Joplin, who was a rocker chick from the 70s, very influential. Michelle Logue Reynolds picked Elvis.
Presley?
No, Elvis Presley.
I want to share a burger with him.
Jared Larson picked Kent Hadley. He's a baseball player. Anthony Joffrion picked Dan Gable. So that's kind of like your David Taylor one, Cade. Bradley Cook picked Ty Cobb, which is similar to my Mickey Mantle one, I guess.
Boom!
What are you pointing at?
A Ty Cobb. That's
Oh,
what I
Ty
see.
Cobb, yeah.
Big, bold letters.
Colin Tracy, my nephew, picked Dirk Nowitzki. Ashley Piper picked Ann Richards. She used to be the governor of Texas. Thomas Lewis picked W.D. Gann, who was... He did something in the realm of finance and mathematics. Samantha Cairo. Do you remember Sam from Rick's Kicks?
Yes.
She picked King Tut. So you talked
Oh,
about
yeah.
him earlier.
Tutankhamun.
And Wendy
know
Ziegler
King
picked
Tut.
Queen Elizabeth I. And then we had Joe Jeter, Brian Adkins, Michelle Lug Reynolds, and Eric Martinez all picked Jesus.
Oh yeah.
Wait.
Praise the Lord.
I should have chose a figure from
Well,
a religious figure.
I never thought about that.
yeah, well, some people did. Oh, and Nick Green said, I want to meet the guy that delivers my newspaper on Saturdays and Sundays. He skips my house about half the time. I want to know why. And Sherveen Alavi, you know Sherveen? Veen?
Obviously.
No.
Noah's dad? Yes, you do. Super awesome. Uncle Super
Oh,
Awesome.
yeah, I know him.
He's amazing.
He said
How do
he
you
would.
forget him?
Yeah, because I don't know. He said he.
I don't ever call him by his real name.
His name is Sherveen.
Well, I don't call him that. I call him Super Awesome Dude.
Well, if you hear Alavi, then you should definitely know because
Yeah, I hear Olive, not Super Fancy Dude.
Sherveen Alavi said Christopher Moore because he is the best looking bearded redhead ever. So I like that one, obviously.
isn't it red lower head?
Yeah, I'm not really a redhead. I'm a ginger beard. So that's it, right? Thanks to everybody for taking the time to
It's
listen.
like gingerbread.
Please check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/521podcast or tweet us at 521podcast. Give us a review on iTunes. That would be great. Also, call us 469-607-521 or 469-607-5861.
Say it again.
469-607-5861.
469-507-6.
469-607.
469-607
5861.
All right.
Please join us next time on 5 to 1 for our discussion on, and Jet's now thinking of something with a weird look on his face, Lord of the Rings characters.
Yeah, and I just recently watched it, and I like it better than Harry Potter.
What about top 5 step stool brands?
Okay.
Got anything else to say, Kate?
Love you.
Walking your way, you start walking mine. We